kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run. We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done? Mr. Brown goes off to town on the A21, but he comes home each evening and he's ready with his gun.
Hey, Bodgers. Right, today we're going to be looking at some bayonets. I've got these from a friend that sadly passed away just before Christmas, and these are going to go to RAF Snaith Museum on loan. Yeah, he nice bloke. Steve was his name. He's sorely missed. He was the father of my daughter-in-law, and he had these in his effects, and these are going to get a good home. Here we have 3 bayonets from the First World War into the Second World War. All of them are to fit various different, a couple of different guns, but we'll get into that as I get going. What I will do is I will first unsheath them. Sorry, that's the cat. What I'll do is unsheath them first, and we'll take a look at them, and then we'll go through each one, and I'll tell you what I have seen. I've been onto a bayonet site on YouTube, which I will sorry, blooming cat trying to jump up with the camera. What I will do is I'll leave a link to that group in the description, and you'll be able to see my post and a lot of other bayonets there. Quite a unique thing, really. It's hard to believe some of these will have actually seen active duty. They will have been in, who knows. I think you get the idea. Let's not go too much into that. We are on YouTube after all. So anyway, yeah, enough waffling. We'll start with the first one, this one. All of them are in need of a bit of TLC, which is why I've got them before they go to museum. This one's coated with some sort of gear oil or engine oil or something, which has preserved it very well and has kept the rust off, but it does need a clean up before it can be displayed in the museum, in RAF Museum. Again, I'll leave links in the description. So let's start like this. How's that, Bodgers? Can you see that? So this first one, it's a Belgian M1889-35. It's an infantry short bayonet. These, when the Germans invaded Belgium, quite often were then given to the German troops. Some of them got modified, some of them remained the same, but yeah, some were modified to fit different guns, some of them were shortened, and it's very rare to find them undamaged with the Belgian bayonets. They really do have some heft to them. The barrel would go through this hole and would be fixed to the bottom of the stock here, and these just click into place. There's like a little catch button there, you can see that, Bodgers? Yeah, they are quite the weapon, and the end of it is still quite sharp and pointy. The blades themselves were quite dull. Many of the German forces and the Belgian forces and whichever country all these bayonets came from actually sharpened this edge, but this edge is dull. It isn't sharp whatsoever, and never was. It was mainly about the process of putting this into somebody's abdomen. So they were never meant to be sharp along this side, but many soldiers, like I say, did sharpen them to use them as a tool, as a knife, actually in the field. You know, you're carrying this thing around, you might as well use it like a proper knife. So yeah, they are quite sharp, but like I say, these didn't last long in Belgian hands during the Second World War. They fairly quickly found their way into German hands. So that's all I've got on these. The most of my research has been on one that's coming up, the third one that I'll show you. But that's what I've got so far. If you know any more history on any of these bayonets, please do write down in the comments below. Leave a links in the description for me to study, because the more information I have, the more I can actually show these and put that into the description in the museum. The scabbard itself would sit in what is called a frog, a leather holster for the entire thing, and the frog would have two bits of leather that would go, or one piece of leather that would go down here, and this would actually fit in the hole on the leather pouch that holds them. So yeah, it's got quite a heft. I mean, even just getting a wallop with it still in its sheath is quite amazing, really. You know, it would hurt. Certainly be a skull cruncher. So I'll move on to the second one. This one is slightly more delicate, slightly more intricate, because it is Italian. It's for an M1891, which is a Mauser gun, for the Carcano and Maniliche rifle. If I get that wrong, I'm going to butcher all my pronunciations here. But it's a very similar fitting to the Mauser on this end, but the barrel size is different because it was of a different calibre. This is a steel scabbard that it's in. Again, it would fit in the frog exactly in the same manner. So yeah, Italian, and you can tell by the look of it, it looks like it's Italian for some reason. I don't know, it's just got that feel about it. This one still hasn't been sharpened, although towards the end it has by the whichever person had that. Obviously we know the history of the Italians and the Germans. It does show more damage to the blade, whether that was at the time, whether that's by the way it was stored, I'm not too sure. Numbers on these to identify all these are usually found on this part of the blade. There'll be numbers or a coat of arms. This one has some numbers actually stamped on the handguard. ORK, where are we? Looks like 4888. Don't have my glasses on, but that's what it looks like. So yeah, for a different kind of weapon, this wasn't for the Mauser, but the fittings are extremely similar to the Mauser. So again, probably modified at some point as weaponry changed hands during the war. It was quite common for weapons to be, what shall we say, taken from its previous owner and used by those troops, were both on the Allied and the enemy side. And like I say, it's a steel scabbard. And on this scabbard it only fits one way. You see how it tightens up there? But will fit that way, because this scabbard is actually shaped like a blade. So yeah, there's that one. And then we come to the Swedish. Now the Swedish is the one where it did come with a little piece of information. This is all I had on here. So yeah, Swedish model 1896 Mauser bayonet. This is the frog. I don't know where the name comes from. If you know, bodgers, please do tell me, because I would love to know. There were several different kinds of frog. This one is actually a modified frog, which has been converted from an older bayonet for the M59 equipment belt. You'll see here how there's 2 holes. So yeah, that one's actually been modified to carry this this bayonet. Again, we have a steel scabbard. Nothing too fancy there, but if you notice, the scabbard goes in and holds in place. And on this one, the strap is what actually goes around the handle of the knife. So yeah, the Swedish. It's made by the markers on these. Here is a little crown with the letter C underneath. That's from Carl Gustav. Carl Gustav made weaponry from the late 1800s right the way through into the 20th century, and they were slightly mass produced. These actually came in sections and were put together as a kit. This one is one of the later ones because it has the conical clip here that pulls up. It's spring loaded. The earlier ones just had a flat disc on here that you pulled up on, made of brass. So yeah, this is made for the 6.5mm M896 Swedish Mauser rifle, and on the cross piece usually would be stamped with numbers which would indicate the rifle number and the infantry company that it would be from, so it could actually be attached to a single person or a single weapon at least. This one has been sharpened quite well actually along this edge, and very pointy on the end for doing the job, and it's probably the one that's in the best condition. And is a lot lighter. The handguard isn't quite as big, but you can tell that it's for a rifle of slightly large caliber by the hole here that would go over the barrel of the rifle itself, like that. So these are going to go into RAF Snaith Museum and be displayed there when I've cleaned each one of them up, and we will be opening Easter weekend. There's a lot of work going on there at the moment, which I think you might see in Aidy's video on blowing 8-cylinder. I'll leave a link in the description. We have just had some external work done, and it's really quite busy trying to get us back on form. So yeah, so that's the bayonets taken care of. And as a little added bonus, what also came with these is MOD issue, War Department in fact issue, pocket knife that came with a tin opener and the blade itself. There were other variations of these, but I do need information on these knives, who made them, what the manufacturer was. On here it does say S and P, and then there's a number that ends with 3, and the War Department clawfoot. Can you see that, bodgers? Actually engraved on the tin opener itself. This one's still very sharp, and it does have the letter, the initials. It's either AM or AW or WA or W or MA on the carved into the side. So there would be quite a precious thing for the lads that was on the front line. Again, issued by the War Department of Britain. At the moment I don't have a British bayonet. If you know of one, please let me know. But like I say, during the war, should we call it the spoils of war, a lot of lads came home with these, with all these sorts of things, because it could easily be carried and brought back over to Britain, and then sold off or kept. A lot of lads came back with guns as well, which wasn't always the plan, but that's the way it goes. So yeah, so if you know anything more about any of these bayonets, I am still learning. Like I say, I'm part of this Facebook group, which I will leave links to. If you know anything about any of them, or if you know of British ones that was issued, please let me know, and I'd be very grateful, because you know it's important to me that not only do I preserve the memory of those lads that fought during the war, but also of my friend Steve, that left these to me. They mean a lot to me. You know, it's important that these things are preserved, to the best of my ability at least. If you know ways that I might be able to preserve any of these, please let me know, because I don't want to make any of them worse condition than they are at the moment. To be honest, they're all in pretty good shape at the moment. The blades aren't particularly rusty, and you know, the handles have seen nicks and dings over the years, but it's to be expected. You know, all these are at least 80 years old, possibly earlier. So yeah, thanks for that, Bodgers. I will be following up with a few shorts hopefully next week. I don't know what on. I'm still going to do a bit more of the old catapult, and see what else I can come up with. If there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know. Bodger Jr. is coming on board. We'll be doing a lot more of the editing and things. So yeah, let me know what you want to see. So yeah, don't know how to finish really. I guess that's it. If you do know any more information on any of these, you know, the Belgian, the Italian, and this one that was Swedish, probably made for the British, for the German market. Obviously Sweden, not really into war very much, but you know, all these was made. A lot of them were made in Germany, of this particular kind, or sold to German troops and various other armies around the world, possibly even Britain. I don't know. Like I say, I'm still doing a lot of research. If you know anything about bayonets, please do message me via the Facebook, which I will leave links to, via the you can message me through YouTube, whatever it is. I do have an Instagram that I don't really use very much, but you can find me there, Bearded Bodger, and I'll be very grateful. But for now, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Quite a short video, I think. I don't think we're in too much. And especially if you know about the knife, I really need some more information on the pocket knife. I'd like to learn more. There were different variations for different forces. The Air Force would have a different one, I think, to the have a different one to the Army, and the Army would have a different one to the Navy, etc. And some had commonalities depending on what the role was, but tin opener and an actual blade, I'm guessing possibly front line, because you wouldn't want too many tools. I don't know. But yeah, let me know, Bodgers, and I'll see you next week. Ta-da!
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run? stop your little game. We are the boys who